Lebanon's health ministry reports that 16 people were killed and 35 wounded in Israeli strikes in eastern Lebanon overnight. The attacks targeted the town of Nabi Chit in the Baalbek District. Amid a reported helicopter landing operation, Hezbollah says 4 Israeli helicopters arrived from Syria, and troops who landed in Nabi Chit were engaged by its operators before withdrawing under heavy airstrikes. The situation highlights escalating tensions along the Lebanon-Israel border. You know, Malika, in all our discussions, I've realized that you and I pretty much agree on a point that, whatever the US has done wasn't really necessary. But of course, what do you have to say about this latest development?
Vishali, the series of events that are coming, I totally agree. We've been discussing it for almost 8 days now, and we're in the 8th day of war today. What the US had claimed that in the first 6 days we are going to do this, their war secretary, their state secretary Marco Rubio had different opinions. Their opinions, we see there's a shift in the only thing certain, Vishali, is the uncertain opinions that the US government is giving right now as the reasons to why they started the war. Because right now, what is the end game is something that I don't understand, Vishali. Like, where is this war going? What is the victory? Is it the end of the regime? Well, it is going to be very difficult, because last we discussed, the ending of the regime, it's a very complex, it's a web structure that is there. So ending the regime is one option, or what does the US wants if they want a democratic government there. It's going to take years, because the political culture of Iran is very, very different that we've seen and we've discussed before as well. Now we see Lebanon and all the axes of resistance that were there. All the axes of resistance are also being attacked. So Lebanon, a lot of civilians are being killed in the name of Hezbollah right now. We see a number of killings that are happening in these axes of resistance as well. So it's spilling. The war is spilling not only to all the Gulf and the Arab states, but also to European Union. And the response is, I was seeing France's president response to this, that he wants to get more nuclear warhead now. I was seeing response of Israel that they want, they've done a $1 billion deal with the US on missiles. So they are going to purchase more missiles from the US. So overall, whatever Vishali have understood is that Trump has come out to be personally a very good businessman rather than a statesman. He has come out to be a very good businessman. He is selling arms and ammunition at a higher rate. After the Venezuela, we saw after the war with Venezuela, after the war, after the threat in Greenland, a lot of NATO countries started accumulating arms and ammunition. And now after the Iranian war also, we are seeing a lot of purchase of US arms and ammunition. Yes, Vishali.
All right, I'll come back to you now. At least 8 people have been killed in Isfahan, Iran, following strikes carried out by US and Israeli forces. The Iranian state broadcaster reports the attacks also damaged around 80 residential buildings in the province, causing significant destruction. Authorities are assessing the full impact of the strikes on civilians and infrastructure in the region. Major General Kumar, it's interesting. I want to share this with you because I was watching the coverage of the same thing, of course, on different media channels, and I felt that this was more like a coverage where they were saying this is like perhaps a thriller unfolding, where they're talking about what's going to happen next and perhaps glamorizing the whole situation. But the fact that there's been so much devastation, a loss of innocent lives, I cannot get that image out of my mind, where I've seen a picture of 160 coffins of young children dead. What do you have to say about this aspect that must be highlighted, I feel, when it comes to a war?
In a war situation, the cloud of war is talked about. So not all things are absolutely clear. In that haze of the war, situation is constantly changing, and one side may be gaining an upper hand at one point of time, and the situation may change. It may not be the same soon thereafter. And more so, this is more applicable now because of the very fast, with high velocity missiles that are there. And also, we have to keep in mind that Iranians are using drones to a large number, and it is the use of acquisition and operation of drones is more economical, much more economical than these ballistic missiles, etc., which are with the Israel and these three aircraft carriers of US. Therefore, at this point of time, the cost of war, if we say, is favors Iran because their tactics is to use those low cost weapons which at the same time cause confusion, cause damage not only to these two powers, the two adversaries of theirs, but also the neighboring states which are supporting US. And if that happens, and particularly these Gulf states, when their trade and commerce and their corporate activity is disturbed, for example, we know that how many Indians are waiting to be evacuated from that, and that would be the situation even for other nationalities. So, the Iran may uh, go for a timing of its choosing to escalate or to start a new theater in this war. And that would be, one can't speculate where it would, because they would do it in their interest. This has to be borne in mind.